Private living, June to 30, 2023. Very confident this one. We will make a movie quite simple, quite clear. Have in mind that we are doing an anti-mafia procedure using the new tracer by quadrants. It's sourced on our intellectual thoughts, and we use the freedom of thoughts to apply freely as a constitutional guarantee despite violated by others, violations observed, systematically proved even yesterday or in the after hours, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, city. When you do a not authorized entry as yourself at person or cracking and breaking the security of analogical instruments, we are closing this month and having here quite simple that we offered the model to the International Criminal Court. The June activity is basically using our model. We try to get the institutional and state crimes, only goes inside, only goes by chair. Judicial proof only goes by users. The state is a dead structure, and so the institutions. We expected had set or helped to set judicial and ethical consequence by spots on segments traced. Judicial proof suppression go by chairs, spots doing the wrongdoing. It's suppressed by trust because will, according with the Interpol, have the interaction sometimes in a transcontinental level and will destroy or suppress your basic rights, essential human rights, guarantees as observed with this credit, or the legitimacy of the International Criminal Court and others to understand the case properly without interference, having the measurement about each one, even without our simple optimization as our self-defense portfolio, -1. Conclusive state and institutional crime go by chairs. If chair remains or got entries, you had any dismissed list at the security forum. Because the judge in USA at the organized crime has no good behavior to allow the compensation in both courts according with the American Constitution. Then we will check our patents. But before we talk about music, people is always telling that Tiesto must back to their roots. I think that Tiesto must, if you'd like, but a bit more kind of progressive with this deep dance thing. He was a DJ in the early days, kind of trance. Then we had, I think, in my opinion, the Armin van Buuren that put this progressive at the center, and it's a good thing. Trance nowadays is kind of psytrance all the time, and disco at clubs is really deep disco, not considering the commercial things. On underground, not on mainstream, you can have probably a great segment for artists to not, be at the very beginning as people annoy all the time, but having the fusing with his very beginning with the Middle West progressive and deep dance and deep disco like we have on present time. In the same way, this can bring to the New York scenery maybe, or the British and German scenery as nightlife, the deep disco. It's something kind of naval beat that make you shake by yourself. We had this yesterday, patterns. And a great, artist that you have in Italy maybe as independent. Also, you can check at the clouds on the digital space. It's named Guy Barone. It's kind of artist that I like very, very much, and he streams and activities basically the progressive. We will have the patterns. The first one was complained by the Interpol's wrong networks at the corporations. The transnational organized crime interacts in a transcontinental level, commoditizing things. The OECD had told the lack of will is a problem. It's the lack of integrity that affect the capacity to do things. My regular institution, pattern number one, my regular institution, failure inside. I just have to trace and track by the internal control. For instance, in America, I had the entire security system, the defensive system, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, even the CIA, but they all are under the rules and order of the government. If the government set an order to stop, an executive order, probably they will have to do. But the audit is independent, so the governance, risk and compliance, and you had the IIA. So you will have heads on cards. This kind of thing allow me to understand other areas as criminal activity and variance. I understand that the audit, it's not to do the conformance about crimes perpetrated, like you consider in any areas. If you had this problem in USA, considering one big four company and one technology and full service architecture company, especially on big iron, you probably has the wrongdoing at the audit. And if this had a repetition, for instance, São Paulo, Brazil, considering that this company has a problem that looks like trouble and complained by Brazil, you must research things from this point, considering the presidential chair in the United States, for instance, at this company, and all players involved at the Court of Justice, for instance, in São Paulo, and the account courts that did the complaint. It's about the public governance. I don't know, have your own conclusions. Indeed, if got crossed with the period as Olympics and FIFA, probably will have something. Then we will check that the second pattern we had was kind of like we will check that this activity will go. We use matrix, but you can use the Venn diagram, setting the security forum, for instance, and you have the problems. As you can observe, Brazil, USA, it doesn't mean it doesn't matter the order of the problem. If that got traced like this quality here is here at the security forum, and we are expecting the dismiss list of United States. Of course, that the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the CIA, the Interpol, they have clear that the organized crime do this to achieve gains. To achieve gains, you have the corruption. The corruption goes by checks on segment that can be public or corporate. And it doesn't matter if it will be public or corporate, if it goes by corruption, indeed is something that goes by itself. Globally talking, we have only to trace this by checks using procedure signed, to understand infiltrated agents with concurrence with corporate peers, sometimes having the conformance by a audit statement, financial statement, or judicial decision. See? As the stamp of fake records and judicial decision in Brazil, especially in Rio de Janeiro. It's named Deep Web Scam. Has affects company and everybody, as we can observe. The other pattern that we will have, the pattern number 4, is kind of that I have my relation as debt that has the image, I would say, or the domain as credit expected, the credit that has a domain as debit has an image as debit, the credit in the same way. The debit I have must be solved by the credit satisfied, and the credit will be satisfied. It means that I will have no obligations to be solved, and this is kind of the idea. But as you can observe, I had the extension of credit, and I had the extension of debt. In the same way, I will check that things got kind of a bit different. And on economy, you name that this goes at a heterodox construction of this of prescription as economy. It's kind of a thing that's not normative. But we will check that we will have kind of some kind of fail, right? When we put this at the relation debit and credit, the fail will kind of still remains. It's a white collar crime. This kind of activity allows to understand that the criminal area will insist after have the suppression, and in general concurrent time goes at the infrastructure, dragging things to the illicit area that has a storage of things. Doing the bondage, dominância, submission, you can have the control of a CEO or an entire company. And then you will have as extension by advantage the audit with you. But the audit is indefinite, so you probably will complain it some way. Pattern number 4 that we have. Pattern number 5. We will check that the criminal activity was complained as interaction and goes like a workflow scheduled. It's a project. It's the stochastic process, as you can observe. But since we kind of broke the lines of this project by an empty space, you kind of did something here, and it's a disruptive event. But disruptive event, it's not something aleatory by the systematical pattern, especially scheduled, as you could evidence, observe, and prove. It means that this area here all is caught with the hands in the act, offered a plea bargain to them, and they will help to understand things kind of at this division as criminal activity that now is criminals caught with the hands in the act, criminals being unveiled by criminals caught with the hands in the act, and they can do the prediction of things, filling the matrix, kind of international police named reciprocity. How you destroy the criminal system? Like this, we first did the division, now we are putting them at the financial joke by 37 trillions as paycheck. We are having the monitoring procedure of governments and who hold the financial decision about treasuries and saving accounts. This group here, if brings something new, not considering this, will probably obtain some kind of privilege. This group here will must kind of have the need as do something really new to do something bigger. Then we are changing the criminal organization into a Mintzberg structure with our reservoir dogs having the plea bargains and talk everything, and our desperate level, as you can observe even on yesterday, trying to do things in a hush and hurry way to escape themselves. Here is the activity as Mintzberg structure switching the pattern of criminal activity. We offer this to the International Criminal Court. By those checks that is talking, all judges here, especially in the United States at the Security Forum, must be fired. There's no good behavior to justify the compensation. All good? Have a nice weekend. If you need, we'll move forward. I will be right here.